And don't worry, I don't say, oh, it's really bad. Just think she's 98. Let her have a nice rest of the life.
Yeah.
But instead, she was there, and the annoying thing was, and they do this with a lot of people in hospital, they pump you with drugs, try to sort it out. They don't, you know, there's probably a bit of guesswork going on. Maybe. A little bit.
Not as much as you, but go on.
Right? And because of that, they sort of break wind a lot. So I'm sat there with my dad talking.
Whoa.
Drugs do that, Steve. I'm sure if there's a doctor listening or a nurse, they will clarify that if they pump you with all sorts of stuff, it wants to come out.
Right.
So you're sat there having a serious chat. It's a quiet hospital. The woman next door with the blue hands suddenly starts seeping gas, right? Well, I start laughing. Because if there's one thing that makes you laugh, it's that,
It's a 98-year-old woman with blue hands farting.
So you try to hold it in because it's a really quiet hospital, and it'd be obvious that that I was laughing at her, and I didn't want to be mean, but it was funny. And then it got me talking about my auntie, because my auntie Nora, she same thing, pumped her with loads of drugs. She used to have a cabinet next to the bed is like Boots. She's got loads of stuff, right, for all sorts of stuff. And I mean, she's not that old, but she's on loads of stuff, right?
She's a bit coked up, is she?
She called up my mum once. And,
yeah, you told us this. Go on, tell it again.
And she said, "Oh, how are you doing?" And that. She's all right. Bit worried though. My mum said, "Why? What's up?" She said, "I've been breaking wind." So she goes, "Well, you know." She says, "No, but this one is going on and on and on." And she was like, she was like, what do you say? What's like passing wind, farting for 5 minutes. one thing, not like, you know, trumping and then nothing. Yeah. Continuous
drone of a fart.
Yeah.
I don't think she had. How big was she? She must be the size of a barn.
No, she's not that big. She's, you know, she's good for her age.
No,
Quite
but I mean,
quite slim.
No,
it's
but
just
farting for 5 minutes. Where's all the gas? Was she circular breathing? Was she sucking it in with her mouth?
It was just, I don't know that much about it. But she called up my mum. About 2.5 minutes in.
Could you hear it in the background?
2.5 minutes in!
2.5 minutes in, she called my mum up, and it went on for a further 2.5 minutes.
Oh. And she just stayed on the phone, did she?
Where was...
Going, can you hear that?
Well...
Yeah. Did she hold the phone next to her arse? Listen to that.
She was off the ground.
Trying to work a tune down.
she was actually hovering. She was 4 foot off the ground when they found her, the ambulance men.
The cat's dead.
Don't light a match! Don't light that cigarette!
Yeah, it's like that advert. The kids come home from school, switch on the light.
Yeah. There they see Granny hovering, turn the light on.
Be careful if you have an elderly woman at home.
Yeah. Drugs make you fart.
So it was last week when there was a little bit of confusion over the one for Holly Valance. Right?
Of course. I don't think it was confusion, I think it was your error.
No, it wasn't.
And it was Holy Valance, and you meant Pelmet.
Then Becky, who called up that time and said, "Oh, if you're getting mistaken with Pelmet," right? She sent me an email in a week saying, "I've done a bit of research. It was my fault. I've made an error. It is a Valance."
Okay.
And I know about Valances, as I told you last week. At the very end, my auntie loves them.
Yeah.
Right. She makes them. She started off just like putting them on top of the sort of window around the curtain. And then she thought, oh, I can do more with this. Yes. And she had a little coffee table that had magazines underneath, and she said, I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I'm sat down.
She sounds like a Pilkington.
I'm sick of seeing them magazines when I sit down.
So she put a Valance round the table.
She just got Valances around everything now.
Right? Then, next step, she tapes everything. She never actually watches telly. She tapes it all because she gets sick of listening to the adverts and that. Yeah. So she tapes everything. So she's got loads of videotapes and that. And the video used to get on her nerves. When she was watching a film, she'd see the clock changing. Oh. And it distracted her from the film, so she put a Valance round that.
That's genius!
Yeah.
So, that is
or is it mental? Only Mrs. Einstein can tell.
I don't know. She's even made a little Jack Russell look like a hovercraft.
Yeah.
It's great.
So everything's got a Valance.
If you go round and you stand still for too long, the chances are you'll put a Valance on your head.
Yeah. This is this is Auntie who?
Auntie Nora.
And this is the one that farted for 5 minutes. Lest our listeners forget. Farted for 5 minutes. Called his mum, saying I'm farting. 2 minutes into the fart.
She said about 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
She said I'm about 2.5 minutes into the fart.
My mum said, how long's it been going on for? She said, well, it was about 2.5 minutes before I called you.
Yeah.
and then it went on for a further 2.5 minutes or something, and then it stopped. And,
she couldn't time it because there was a balance over the clock.
Yeah,
because it used to annoy her when she was on the phone that you put her off the time. She was guessing it was 5 minutes.
This was one consistent fart.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't making a noise. It was just.
Oh, it wasn't making a noise.
Just gas.
Right, endless gas.
So there you
That's
go.
fantastic.
Carl, you had a good night out this week. You went to the Sony's. You had a free meal.
Yeah, that annoyed me. I don't.
Yeah, we came away empty-handed, but
Yeah.
it was a good night, wasn't it? You enjoyed that?
Did you enjoy that? I ate it, but go on.
I'm just finding more and more things are annoying me.
Really?
Like even, like at that Sony's night, right? You've got a lot of respectable people going to that thing. You know, people who are high up at the BBC and that.
Yeah.
And just the way, you know, it's a posh night. There's people there with dinner jackets on and stuff.
Mm.
And then I went to the toilet for a wee. Old fella in there. I thought he looks like he's been in the radio game for years. Probably done loads of award-winning Sony stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the BBC documentaries they do, in-depth stuff. And I thought, you know, I wonder if I'll be like him when I'm older. I wonder if I'm as good as him. Thinking all that, he's having a wee in the next urinal. Farts.
I know. Yeah.
He just farts. Old fella in a dinner jacket, probably hired. And I thought,
But is
he's
that
not
what
even showing respect to
they
that.
try to? They think, well, I better do it in here, and it's sort of like a trumpet, and everyone just goes, yeah, it's fine. What's up with that? You know, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just the arrogance of doing
He
it.
just did it. It sounded like a lost whale. And he didn't sort of go and try and clinch it. He carried on, and then he went, oh, that was a good one.
Really?
Old fella, must have been about 70.
Oh dear.
And
Well, better out than in.
Yeah.
but it's not though. I wasn't brought up like that. You see,
Right.
because I did it. I mean, I never really did it that much as a kid,
Sure.
and then I was at my mum and dad's.
You never did it that much as a kid. What, farted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just like, you know, as a joke and that.
We are taping this for next year's Sony Award, aren't we? We're taping this, what we're talking about now, aren't we? To hand in. Because this is, go on.
But I was at my mum and dad's, right? And Suzanne was sat on the floor in front of me, and she was like, oh, rub me neck, it's hurting. So I thought, oh, and I hate doing that, it really it bores me.
Well,
like.
she's your girlfriend, for goodness sake.
I know, Dale Winton's different, you're getting paid for that, go on.
So I thought, the only way to shift her is I'll let one go, right? So I did that.
I love that!
It's such a loving relationship.
I love that, that's great!
So she's-
like doing the washing up badly.
Yeah.
She won't ask me again, what have you done? I've smashed the cups up and I've written in excrement across the wall. Well, that's no good, isn't it? Well, I won't do it again
Give me
then.
the marigolds, I'll do it.
I've nailed the cat to the fridge, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, so I did that, and it worked. She sort of got up and said, oh... And my dad said, what do you do that for?
What was he thinking?
So I said, oh, I hate rubbing her neck, does me head in. So he says, you know, I've never trumped in front of your mother for 40 years.
Sorry, where was this? Chigley? Why is this family talking like this? Young Carl, I've never trumped in front of your mother in the 35 years. What? I don't know what...
No, it's just that he said, you know, we've done a lot of things in the family that I'm
Hold
not
on,
proud of and that.
what did he say that for? What, he's never trumped in front of your mother?
He just offered that information up.
Well, he just was surprised that I did it. He said, where have you got that from?
Yeah.
Whoa, he's lower intestines, I'd thought. What do you have to imagine there's a class of farting. Oh, we haven't told our kids about farting. He doesn't do it. We haven't told him about it. We haven't. No, we don't do it in front of it. You have to learn it, do you?
No, I know, but there's a place. That's what I was always told.
Go on.
There's a place for that.
Cornwall.
So, and my mum, you know, it's the same. She doesn't do it.
Right.
If she goes to the toilet to, you know, do what you got to do, she makes sure, like, she'll sort of say things like, "Are you going out for a walk?"
Are you going out for a walk?
Does she think? Does she know that you're broadcasting this?
Well, yeah.
She's probably around at the neighbours now, listening.
Yeah.
Any of you going out for a walk?
Yeah. Just at the door.
So she waits until everyone's left, or?
She doesn't like the thought that everyone... Do you know, like, cats don't like you staring at them when they're doing it?
I've never stared at a cat while it was doing anything.
Have you ever had a pet cat?
What do you mean? Yeah, go on.
No, it's just that cats, you know, if you get on a little litter tray,
Yeah.
I remember being told, like, no, when it does use it, don't sort of go and look at it. 'Cause it puts it off. I was the same as a kid. I didn't, when I had a nappy...
Who comes and looks at you when you're on the bottom?
No, when I was a kid and I was in a nappy, right, I used to always, like, there was a corner in the kitchen that I'd always go to. And everyone would be
Why
like...
do you go to the
I'm so
Well,
sorry.
it's like, right, listen, when I was a kid, right, and it's alright for you to go into women's toilets when you're a kid, it's like, oh, it's a bit cute, right, as long as you're not, like, over 15 or something, right?
Right.
But when I was a kid, I went into a toilet, and women, when they use their little cubicles, they don't shut the door. Some of them just sit down on the toilet,
Yeah.
right, and you see everything, and, no, seriously, that's probably one of the first times I saw, like, a woman.
Yeah.
That, right, and my Auntie Nora when she was staying over.
What happened with your Auntie Nora?
She was, she's into wearing caftans.
Into wearing what?
You know, caftans.
Oh, yeah.
What caftans?
Big, bellowy sort of dresses.
Right.
And, yeah, I used to sit on the floor at home in front of the telly.
Sure.
She was on the chair behind.
Yeah.
She did a bit of a, sort of a Sharon Stone scene.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
There was no underwear?
No.
What age were you?
What was it like?
What age were you?
It was like a ripped tennis ball. So.
What? Right, we're off air. We're off air. Either that or put us in for the Sonys.
No, because I read it and kind of started having sort of memories of Auntie Nora again.
Yeah.
Because she used to always, like...
Now, Auntie Nora is the woman
Who farted for 5 minutes.
She had wind for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But she also, she used to say, oh, Karl, rub me back. Right. And with her being quite old, it was all sort of mouldy and warty.
It was mouldy?
No,
Mouldy.
Sort of mouldy.
Mouldy, right.
And what did you do?
I didn't like it. I hated it, in
It
fact.
was like reading a braille book.
Yeah.
It was like putting your hand in a load of Cocoa Pops.
Oh, dear.
All really big brown things. And I just thought framing hers would be sort of 3D-ish.
Right, yeah. What's that, a chunk of the moon? No.
Yeah. Did you Artex that wall?
Yeah.
No,
That's Auntie Nora.
That's Auntie Nora's back. Oh, God.
Any piece of your body, Carl, that you'd like to leave behind? for
That's
posterity?
disgusting. Putting your hand into them. Is she the one with the split tennis ball when she wasn't wearing
Shut
knickers?
up.
That's the
What?
one.
No, let's not discuss the tennis ball.
Okay.
So she used to get you to sort of knead her dough on her back.
God, this is really bad.
But like,
don't.
what would she with her dress or whatever? Or
She wore those sort of squid-looking things, like,
Sorry, what?
what? Those squid looking.
That's Auntie Nora covered in octopuses. What are you talking about? What do you mean?
It's like a nightgown type thing,
But what's squid got to do with it?
because they sort of look like a squid around the edge.
Oh, I know, frilly things. Yeah.
And she just say, I'm aching there. Oh. She was never well. She was never. Do you know what I mean? She's always has something wrong with her. I don't ask her how she is. It's just like she's not going to be all right.
Did she have wind when you were sort of neat? It must have been like playing an accordion.
Yeah, get a little tune going.
Oh, who's your auntie with the tattoos?
That's Hazel.
Oh, right, yeah.
Let's leave that.
Why?
Oh, let's
Why?
not talk
Well,
about.
leave it. What have I come across there?
What's wrong with
that?
Auntie Hazel?
What's up with Auntie Hazel?
There's nothing wrong with her. It's just a
What?
just a lesbian, which is nothing wrong with that.
Well, no, but you've made it sound like there is now by not wanting to say it. My
But
auntie's a
I know
lesbian.
what you're saying, though. I know what you're getting at. Just because I call her Uncle Hazel.
Play a record.
He's from Manchester. Please forgive him.
Carl's back. He's cheering up a little bit because I think he's vented his spleen a little bit on cities around the world that aren't as good as Manchester. So, has any of your family lived in Manchester? Because they all moved away, didn't they? You came here. Your dad's moved to Wales, for Christ's sake. Well, your family are all around the... Brother joined the army to get anywhere. Just take me anywhere.
I don't know where he is.
His sister's moved away, so no one...
Ireland. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, you see? So, that's just one family. That's one family who love Manchester.
Exactly.
Alright?
Tell you what, Steve.
Go on.
You know what I did find out in the week.
Yeah.
World record, right? Person with the longest trump,
With the longest what?
wind, fart,
Right.
right? 2 minutes 42 is the world record,
Okay.
right?
Well, I'm immediately thinking about a relative of yours who I'm sure did longer than
Who
that.
still lives in Manchester.
Auntie Nora.
Now, Auntie Nora did it for how long? 5
Reportedly,
minutes, wasn't it?
Starfighter for 5 minutes. But, unfortunately, she was the only person in the room. Whereas I think, which one's alive, Ross or Norris McWhirter?
I don't know, actually.
He has to be there.
Yeah, I think he actually has to
He'd
be
have
present.
to be there.
Would you want to be there?
Well, he'd have sort of equipment, and looking at his watch, going, finish? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, that was 4
Could
minutes,
she
59
go from like a
seconds.
size 10 to a size 6?
Just,
Could she show some old dresses?
like a hovercraft.
Exactly.
In a big dress.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
slightly off. Yeah. So, it has to be invigilated.
But again, you know, how was the Guinness Book of World Records one invigilated? I mean, who was supervising that? Who was
He
monitoring
said,
that?
I can fart for 2 minutes. They went, well, we've got to see this. Went round. And, he just probably let it rip. It's probably circular breathing. He's probably sort of sucking in air and swallowing it as he's going. And it's a continuous one, isn't it? It's not like, yeah.
I mean, you know, that's how Nora's happened. Me Auntie Nora. She had a little bit of wind. It went on for like 2.5 minutes.
Sure.
That's when she called me mum
As it was still going on.
and said, there's something not right here.
I'm
And,
leaking.
She said, oh, can you send your dad round? You know, my dad.
Yeah.
Saying to me mum.
With a cork.
And,
With a lighter. I think this would be the best one
I want
ever.
to show the kids something.
he said, I'll be there in a bit, get the windows open. But what it was down to, because I was talking to
Is
my
she
mum
the
and dad
one with the
about
split tennis ball?
it. Yeah.
Can we
I was
not talk about that again?
I was talking to my mum and dad about it, saying, you know, why do you think it happened and that? And it's because she never chucks food away, right? And she'll sort of mash it all up. And she's got all these ice cream tubs in the fridge that are just full
Cabbage
of, like,
water.
old, mashed up food.
Really?
And she prepares everything. Right, she doesn't work, she's retired now, she's got nothing to do all day, but everything's got to be ready
Still
for
calls
her.
in sick.
Do you know what I mean? Everything's got to be done. Even though, if you're going round to her house and you're going there for tea, it's like, what time are you coming? And it's like, well, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, you're
Well, no,
late,
I need
because
to
you're late
know,
when
I
you
need
have to
to
meet
know.
us at 5 or 6.
Do you know what I mean? That's
But
what...
so, when you say she mashes up food, she literally takes the remnants of a dinner, could be sort of some...
Anything.
And just smashes it all up into a...
Yeah.
And then what does she do with it?
Put it in the fridge, and she's got in the fridge, it's like January, February, March, she's got all these ice cream boxes that are just full of...
But she doesn't... She reheats it and eats it.
Oh, then she,
I
puts it in
thought
a
she was
pan.
just keeping it as a
No, no, no,
souvenir
no.
of each meal she'd had.
No, put it in a pan, warm it up.
Oh,
And that's what it is, it's just...
A lot of vegetation, is it?
Yeah.
Why has it only happened once, or does she save it up once a year, just let it go?
I don't know. Well, she is mad,
Yeah, she sounds potty.
She doesn't answer the phone anymore in case there's a burglar. Checking if she's in. It's like, well, answer it and then they'll know you are in and they won't come round.
Yeah.
Mental.
Well,
Mental.
they can't be sure then, can they?
What do you mean?
Well, if there's no, I go, well, maybe it's someone just... They are in, but they're hiding, whereas if Auntie Nora goes, it's Auntie Nora. We can she'll be farting. We can sneak in when she does a loud one. Because we'll be aware to tell you, what's stopping it? It's got a valance round it. It's got caught on the cap.
But, Harry Potter?
Yeah. You can't be honest with it. Have you read them?
No, because the first time it came out, I was a bit confused, wasn't I? Because I thought it was about
Of course
a
you
rabbit.
were. Yeah. Of course what? What?
This is a what? It's a book.
No, I got confused with the little rabbit. I thought it was her, didn't I? You talked about it when
Beatrix Potter.
Yeah, I got mixed up with that, so I sort of missed out on the first one anyway.
You were
was
just running
too
around
late.
confused.
So it was
Yeah.
it was sort of too late to get into it, I think, after...
Yeah, it's too late now, yeah.
Um,
It's impossible.
Well,
Same
it's
with
just
Shakespeare. If you weren't around, you know, the day he wrote the first ones, there's no point in going back.
but it's all the fuss that she's getting as well, like...
Well, I think it's because she's a British industry now, isn't she? I mean, it must have made, what, billions?
Well, it's the perfect success story. She writes a story for her children, and it becomes a worldwide phenomenon. You know, it's not cynical. It's just a great story.
Didn't your dad ever pop anything down in writing?
I'll tell you what, my mum wanted to do it.
Yeah.
There's been loads of things, little inventions she's come up with and that, but she's been too busy doing other stuff. But she used to come up with stories for me as a kid that I'm sure, if they came out, they'd be a success.
Yeah.
Go on.
Do you remember any of them?
There was one about a little red car. I can't remember how that ended. But the one that was really good was about a kid who gets a dog, right? But it's quite an old dog.
This is going to be an episode of the Waltons, isn't it? And then
Right.
Go on.
And he's playing with the dog and that, but it starts getting a bit old. It's about 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, it's rubbish, this dog."
I would love that book for kids. I would love that. Tommy went, "Oh, Mummy, my dad's... Oh, no, kill it then. Kill it then." She's like, "Yeah, just throw it in the lake. I'll get you another one. Do you want a Nintendo? Yeah. Kick the rabbit to death then. Or no food for you."
Oh,
brilliant.
No.
Right, come on, and Karl, we've got a lot to fit in now. We've insulted a lot of people. Only about 25 minutes to go. We've got monkey news. We've got rockbusters. Have we got a cheeky freak of the week this week?
Could cram it in, see how we do.
Do we want to hear the end of Karl's story?
Yeah, what's
I really
the
wanna hear
kid,
end of your mum's story.
little Timmy and his 15-year-old dog Lucky got a bit bored with it.
Right, so he said, "Oh, Mum, you know, this dog's rubbish and that, I'm sick of it."
Yeah.
So she goes,
How old were you when your mum was telling you this story?
don't know, about 4.
Okay.
It wasn't last week on holiday.
No, right.
So she goes, "Oh, alright then, we'll get you another one."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Brilliant."
What did you do with the old one?
Just kept it, but didn't sort of play with it or anything.
Just ostracised it until it left of its own free will, or curled up and died.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So,
What did you get him? What sort of dog?
I think it was a little baby, like Labrador.
Puppy.
Little puppy, yeah.
Yeah, Labrador,
Right.
Good one. Good choice for a second dog.
So,
Yeah.
so
I'm
anyway,
loving this story.
It's a great
I am
story.
actually loving this story.
So,
Where does he live?
I don't know, it didn't matter. Didn't matter, it was near a lake.
Well, that's where they were getting rid of all the dogs. Sure.
Yeah.
We're getting, that'll make sense in a minute, right? So, so he's got a little dog, he's playing around with it, he's playing with its belly and stuff, he's thinking this is brilliant, best dog I've ever had, right? And the other dog sat in the corner looking all fed up, right? So,
I like this story.
so he says to his mum, "Right, I'm taking, little puppy down the park."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, take the old one with you." And he goes, "Oh, do we have to?"
It's a moral, isn't it? I bet the old one saves him.
So he goes, "Oh, do we have to?" She goes, "Yeah, it still needs a walk and that. Scrapping all over the house." Right.
Yeah.
So takes it down the park, right? And it's playing around, and he's playing near the lake, right?
Is the puppy near the lake, Karl? Because this is what's worrying me.
Yeah.
Puppy's near the lake, right? That jumps in.
Yeah.
The kid goes, "Oh God!" He jumps in, remembers he can't swim,
Yeah. Idiot.
right?
This kid is based on you, isn't it?
Almost certainly.
Flapping about, water's going everywhere. He's going, "I can't." Oh God! And he wants the puppy to help him, but the puppy's just like drowning as well.
Yeah.
The old dog comes up, drags them both out. He goes, "I can't believe it. You know, I said I was fed up with you.
Yeah.
You saved my life."
Yeah.
He gets home, and he says to his mum,
Kill the
"Get
little
rid of
one.
the puppy."
Kill the puppy.
Yeah. So it's good little. Good
What
little
does he
story.
say when he gets home?
He said, "I don't need the puppy now. I'm happy
Brilliant. Brilliant. Genius.
It's good, isn't it?"
Yeah. So the moral of that story is
Well, they
just
show-
follow your whims.
They just, yeah. If you get bored and get another puppy.
Get another dog.
If you get bored with the old one again, just do it again. I mean,
Yeah.
just eventually, get something
Yeah,
that you
learn
like
your
for a
dogs,
little.
who cares?
Yeah. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant story, though. Brilliant story, though.
All right, Carl's had a bad week. I'm going to say it straight away. He tries to rule out stress in his life.
Yeah.
But he's had a bit too much stress this week, haven't you? One, a phone call from his mum, stressed him a little bit.
Right.
Something he said in a magazine about his auntie. Came back to haunt him.
Auntie Nora?
Auntie Nora, yeah.
Don't name her.
Oh,
She
no,
knows
don't
who
name
she
her.
is.
No. Okay, we won't name her, right? We'll just say it's the one who farted for 5 minutes and as he saw a skirt when he was young and I found it like a split tennis
So
ball.
it could be any of me aunties.
So other stressful things.
So anyway, what's the Auntie Nora thing? Sorry, Auntie X.
Auntie X.
What did she?
Yeah.
Why is she upset?
Well, he mentioned her in Zoo. He did this thing for Zoo magazine, and he mentioned about when he looked up her dress. She had a.
Yeah, by accident, remember?
No, I'm not suggesting you were going around looking up your elderly relatives' dresses in case they weren't wearing.
For people who've not heard Karl talk about this in the past, just explain quickly again what we're talking about.
Right.
He didn't want to talk about it at all.
When I was a kid, right, Auntie Nora used to come round. My auntie used to come round.
As if there's any ambiguity now. Yeah.
My auntie used to come round and stay, right? And I'm sat on the floor watching the telly, right? She's sat on the sofa with a caftan on. I turn round, right, and it was there.
It was looking back
at me, right? And we've mentioned this, and I just briefly sort of said, "What did it look like?" And a split tennis ball came to mind. That's what we talked about, right? So anyway, Zoo magazine, when they did the interview...
And she's the one that used to put a valance on everything, isn't it?
Well, not everything, obviously. So anyway, so I've done this...
So you did interview in Zoo?
Yeah, and like they said, do you... Again, it was like, do you plan stuff and do you worry about stuff when, after you've done the show, you're worried you've upset anyone? And, I was saying, really, I forget people are listening. And, we're just having a chat with mates and that. I said, but now and again, I do worry, when I'm on my way home from the show and that, and I'm thinking about what we've talked about. And I was saying, the Auntie Nora incident.
Yeah. Incident? That's Watergate! Yeah.
And, anyway, so this was in there, right? And I was saying in the magazine, but I think I got away with it. She doesn't listen to the show, but, and I don't think she reads Zoo magazine, so...
She's more of a nuts woman. Sure, yeah.
So, anyway, so my mum calls up the other week, right? And she goes, wish you wouldn't, talk about Nora and that. And, I was like, oh, so how do you know about that? She goes, well, one of your cousins have called us up and said they've read the article about it. So yeah, that's why we don't want to talk about it, really.
So he stitched you up.
Hmm. So do you know what Auntie X has made of this? Do you know if she was upset or not?
Well, she doesn't know about it.
Because, maybe she's always thought it looked like a split tennis ball. Maybe you're just in sync, because you're relatives and stuff. Maybe she knew instantly. Even if you hadn't named her, she'd have thought, hang on, I farted for 5 minutes once.
Yeah, that's not going to be ambiguous,
is it? Be me.
If you hear like someone who farted for 5 minutes and's got found like a split tennis ball, you're going to go, I wonder if he means me. Yeah. You're going to remember
or
that.
Auntie Jackie. It could be Auntie Jackie.
Oh, God. Oh, chimpanzee, that is written it down again.
Yeah, this is where we read extracts from Karl's diary. We've had to wrestle it from him. He's never happy, but, that's the way it goes when you're doing, a show as popular as this. And I'm going straight now to this entry. My mum phoned and said that my Auntie Nora, classic Auntie Nora, wanted me to look on the internet to find out what the weather would be like in Spain at the end of November. I don't know where she gets her money from. 2 months ago, she was asking me dad how much it would be to get her back garden astroturfed because she's sick and tired of the grass getting out of
What does she want to do? Start a football team? What does she want a back garden astroturf?
She likes the sort of green look, but she doesn't like the headache that comes with it, so she's just looking into getting that false grass put in there.
Brilliant.
Don't know how much it is.
They always say when you get someone a present, you should buy them something they wouldn't buy themselves. Daft rule. I want something I would buy myself if I had the money. When I was young, my Auntie Nora got me a present I wouldn't buy myself. It was a T-shirt with her face on.
Suzanne. Oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know.
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning. I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone. He sounded about 90.
Yeah. Carl thinks that he's going to have to do all the work.
And the thing is, right, it seems to be
all he wanted some Werther originals.
Yeah, right, listen, he seems to be cheap because it's £50 an hour. But how long is it going to take him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's genius.
When's the move on then? When's the
he's coming round. He came round today to bring some empty boxes, and he was struggling with them. So it actually happens on Wednesday.
Oh God.
Anyway, so
Rich, I noticed that you were laughing and almost had a heart attack. Doesn't bode well for the boxing match, does it?
Cough for the moment, and Suzanne. Oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know.
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning. I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone. He sounded about 90.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, though.
Go on.
If we're talking about ghosts and that.
Yeah.
Now, Hilda.
Yeah.
Choose your bog standard old woman.
Right.
I hope that's on the gravestone.
I know, yeah.
No,
did
it's just-
you do the eulogy?
No, you know.
That's great.
You
What can we say about Hilda? Bog standard old woman. Right, there's sandwiches at the bar.
That's the most insulting thing you could ever say.
No, there's nothing. No.
Let's just think about that
Hilda
phrase.
lived her life. Thank you for coming to celebrate the life of Hilda.
Who died at 11:45 specifically.
And was a bog standard old woman. Are we burning or burying?
But anyway, she lived to be quite old.
Which annoyed you?
In a bog standard way.
But this is what I was saying about us all living too long and stuff. It just makes it worse when it does come to us being a ghost.
I don't know what you're talking about
that
again.
sentence made no sense.
Just, if you are going to be haunted, right, say, I know you're going to say, well, I don't believe in them, so I'm not worried, so don't be going on about it. But say, like, you know, your new place that you've bought, you move in, and you go to bed, and there's something moving about the room. You see it, it's a ghost.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's for the sake
More
of argument,
likely, a Siamese cat called Ollie.
No, because that's probably got its own room, hasn't it? But what I'm saying is, would you prefer to have an old person moving about looking at you, or just a young person? I'd prefer a youngish person who looks normal and is sort of floating about, and you go, all right.
That looks normal, floating about.
No, but an old woman would really scare me. And ghosts are always going to have a bad reputation because they look scary because they're old. So that's...
You talk absolute shit.
That's all I'm saying. So
Can you believe we ever charged for this?
No, but look, if we are going into another life, right, after this,
Which we're not,
we
but yeah.
move on to another life,
Yeah.
we're not going to move on. That land, say if it is like another world, where we go and we plough fields and we grow
Croppage.
We grow crops, if you want.
Yeah, well, I would like to use the English language.
Yeah, but there's too much fruit about, so just a crop, just something we need to get by.
He's got an answer for everything.
That's
So we
what
grow
I'm
some
saying.
crop.
Yeah. So you grow your crop, and now if we're all going into that other land or world or universe, old, who's going to do the cropping?
Oh, God! Oh, I've never heard so much crop in my life.
It's a load of old crop.
Foo Fighters, Best of You on XFM 104.9. Alright, Karl, you calm down now about science.
It just does me head in, a lot of this stuff. I think I would have been better off sort of growing up in the 1940s or something.
Why?
Where there isn't as much science going on, people just lived, didn't they, for the moment.
So
You know what I mean?
well, but what if you'd had to go to war?
What?
What if
Alright,
you-
maybe 1945, then I'd be happier. Just after the war. Just that bit after the war and before they started
What
messing
age?
about.
What year would you want to be born?
When was the war over?
45.
Right. 46 then.
But there's
Born
rationing.
46.
There's rationing for another 10 years.
56 then. Just,
But there's a lot of science going on.
oh, forget it. It just annoys me, all the messing about. They're always messing about with stuff, and I sometimes think, is it doing any good? Is what I mean. Mouse with ears, mouse with monkey's testicles. They're messing about with a mammoth now.
Go on.
Well, they're just saying, well, they're managing to knock one together.
Who
And you just think, some scientist somewhere. just messing about.
Andy.
No, but it's just, I mean, we've done it before about the do we need them thing. The amount of creatures and insects and that are knocking about. You've got that caterpillar that I mentioned walking about, it doesn't know where it's going. Get rid of them. The mammoth. The world's busy enough. It's crowded. It's overcrowded now. How much room are they going to take up? Do you know what I mean?
Why are they doing it, Carl? Do you know? All you know is that they're trying to muck around with
because
them.
they can, because that's all it is, isn't it? Because they can. You're messing about. Someone's being paid to do stuff.
What else are we here for? If not to try stuff out. What else are we here for?
What do you mean?
Well, what are we here for?
Just to enjoy life, isn't it?
Well, some scientists enjoy knocking a mammoth together.
No, but don't worry about the mammoth. It died out. Maybe it died out for a reason. Why didn't Noah save it if it was important?
Because Noah, what do you mean? Noah's not true, is it?
Well, I don't know, there might have been some truth in it.
What truth in it? That he put 2 of every animal that existed into an ark. How big was this then? Why didn't they eat each other?
Yeah, I know, I'm not saying...
Imagine the noise, Carl.
Yeah.
No,
Trying to get a bit of kit there.
There's points to that where I go, that didn't happen, because where could he have been where there was a hamster and an elephant and a crocodile? Where was he? Do you know what I mean?
But none of it's true. What bit do you believe?
What do you mean?
He got a bit wet.
What are we talking about? The mammoth or the...
No. What is up with you?
No, it's just that we had a lot...
seriously, have you got brain damage?
No, it's just that we had a lot of topics going on there. I just don't know which...
We were talking about Noah. And then you suddenly go, I know where did we... What? The mammoth or Noah? What? What you did, none of it's true. What? Think of it. Oh, God. Think of the first thing. Build an ark. All right.
Can I just clarify, what's an ark?
It's a big boat thing.
Right. I've never had any experience of carpentry.
Just build a big boat thing.
But I don't make...
Just have a go. Don't worry, you'll be all right. I'll make sure it's all right.
But once I've built that, I mean, how big should I build it? What am I...
Very big. It needs every animal. 2 of every animal. Go on. Every animal.
I mean, the boat building, fair enough.
I told you to make it big.
Right.
Don't worry about the fish. They can swim.
Okay, but so
all
what's
the birds. Get the flightless ones, though. They're drowned. Get the flightless ones. They would not the penguins. They're flightless, but they can swim. But all other animals...
I should be writing this down.
Why? I mean, wouldn't you have took that opportunity to go, right, forget the, whatever. Mind you, the jellyfish didn't need to get in it, did it? But there's other animals where you can
We don't need to be here. No. Because Karl is actually having a little argument with his own head. It's like, you remember that comic strip, The Numbskulls?
Yeah.
Where there's loads of people in there doing different stuff. That he can hear them.
Yeah.
And sometimes his own mind puts him off.
Yeah.
Like just then, he has an argument with himself and it puts him off. Right, what's your question?
I'm just saying, don't mess about with a mammoth.
Whoa.
Good.
Okay.
Well, what a platform. It's good. We've got our radio show, we've got our own radio show. People are spending money to advertise it. People are actually bothering to listen. And the words of wisdom coming out of your mouth is don't mess around with a mammoth.
Brilliant.
Great.
No, but just going back to...
You sound just like Bob Geldof.
I can't be bothered with this.
He's trying to say...
What can't you be bothered with?
Just because I think I've got a good point.
What? Don't mess around with a mammoth.
That's not a point.
Don't put your daughter on the stage, Missing Roy. What are you talking about?
It's just that I think there's too many animals knocking about. I mean, I know you love your cat and what have you. Waste of time, though. What do they do?
Well, they frighten you.
Well, yours is mental, though, isn't it?
He's sitting there, and the cat right behind him, and he nearly shut himself.
Well, your cat is crazy. It does go for it. It loves... It's got claws, big old claws.
Of course they have. It's a cat.
Yeah, but most cats don't come leaping at your ghoulies every time you sit down with a lovely warm hot cup of tea.
Aren't they pointless, though, Steve?
Well, I've always had a problem with pets generally. The idea of
But
pets.
cats the most. I was saying to Ricky about, I don't know why, out of all the animals that Dick Whittington could have took with him on his journey.
Again?
Forget the cat. Forget it. What's he gonna do?
Okay, you've got to walk to London because the streets are paved with gold. You can take any animal. What do you take?
It wouldn't be a cat because it would keep wandering off. You do double the distance. Trying to get it back. Come here. They don't listen to you. I can't be dealing with them.
I agree that you don't get enough affection back from a cat. A dog, it loves you, it can't get enough of you. But cats, they're very snooty.
Well, they're cool, aren't they, cats? They're cool and independent. I like dogs as well. I like all animals. What would you take with you?
What, if I was Dick Whittington?
Yeah.
And where's he walking from? Like,
I don't know. Wasn't it Bristol to London or something? I don't know. Again, it's a bit hazy. This isn't well documented.
But couldn't he? I mean, why is he taking a pet and not a mate who... I'm not interested. I try and learn and you don't help.
Karl, any more? Oh, tell that story that you were telling me about your dad when he was driving.
Well, it's just that you were talking about... Well, I mentioned Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And the Forrest Gump types. When my dad was when he was a taxi driver...
Yeah.
You used to have to... sort of do your bit for the local area.
Oh God!
By taking the Forrest Gump people to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called now, the Forrest Gump people? Is that what the organisations that support them ask for them to be referred to
a
as?
minibus with
Exactly.
life is a box of chocolates.
exactly.
.com.
Well,
Forrest Gump types.
It must be. So you work with these people.
It was
yeah, the people with learning difficulties.
And I used to get 5.
Coming home must have been a busman's holiday.
So he got 5 of them in the cab.
Yeah.
And he had to go to Blackpool, and 4 of them were really good, you know, behaving themselves, didn't mess about, weren't fighting and stuff, but there was one who was just causing loads of trouble and he couldn't control him. And what you've got to be able to do with people like that, you don't want them to get stressed out because it's not good for them. It stresses them out, and you could end up with a bit
Thanks, Dr. Karl.
you could end up with a bit of a riot on your hands. So he thought, I'll nip this one in the bud right now. And he pulled up just on the outskirts of Blackpool, and he took the one out that was causing problems and put it in a wheelie bin.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise.
He did what?
Oh,
He did it for the good of the others. He put it in a wheelie bin. It was having a good time. He thought it was one of the rides.
Can you stop saying it?
Him.
Yeah.
He was having a good time, and once he calmed down, my dad went back and picked him up, and he was fine. He had a good
What,
time.
he left him in there the whole time the others were in Blackpool?
No, he left him there, not the whole day, probably about an hour and a half
In a wheelie bin?
in a wheelie bin.
Why couldn't he get out?
Because, like, his arms were trapped on the thing. It's one of those...
What, he tied him up?
No, do you know, like, because he was a big fella, and, like, he managed to get him in so his arms were down the side like that, so he was a bit trapped.
Wasn't he screaming and crying and stuff?
He was making a bit of noise, but... do you know what I mean?
What, you feel served him right?
Well, but anyway, I didn't really want to talk about it. He just brought it up because of Forrest Gump.
Did his family know about this? Is this the first time they'd have heard about this?
He didn't get asked to do it again. Because he had another problem similar to it where he had a little minibus, and it was his job to take a load of old women to the bingo hall, and it was miles away. And he took him there. There was no problem. About 10 old women in a minibus.
One of them was causing trouble. So he pulled over it.
No, right, so he took him there. Everything's fine. He dropped him off. They had a lovely night.
Yeah.
Right, they had a lovely night, won a bit of cash. Coming back, it's a bit of a late night, and they all started moaning at him, going, I want to be dropped off here. Take me there. I want to be dropped off first. I've got to get up early. Blah, blah. You know, my husband's expecting me. I'm already late. Take me here first. Take me there. And he just pulled up in the middle of nowhere, said, get out. And he made them get out, and they all called for taxis. They charged that company who was meant to be taking him home in the minibus, and he got the sack. But a similar sort of story. You can't be dealing with it when people don't sort of just calm down and, like, solve the situation.
Yeah.
They're just all like, I want to be dropped off first, take me here first, take me.
Yeah, so he acts like a madman. Good.
Oh, that was
All
great.
great.
What was he doing when he put that little Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin?
That was part of the cab company thing. They had to do, like, a charity event once a year, and he did it one year. Never asked him again.
Tell us the story again.
I'd rather not, because we got a few sort of complaints about it.
Why? Why did you get complaints about it?
Because he put a kid in a bin, and it's not the thing to do. So.
But we could use it as a sort of sobering lesson for people.
Yeah, tell it like a, you shouldn't do it.
No, yeah, but that's how I did it last time, but people still didn't like it. All the stuff I tell you, we don't take the mickey out of people on purpose.
No.
It's real life, innit? And that goes on in life.
Yeah.
My dad was saying that in hospital, though. Do you know I was in hospital?
Yeah.
You know, he did some jokes about old people and that. And he said, at the end of the day, if something makes you laugh, it's funny. And if it makes you laugh, you can't help laughing, can you? Do you know what I mean? So, what you meant to do? And laughing's good for you.
Yeah.
So...
But being laughed at isn't as good for you, is it?
No, but there's probably more people laughing at one person, so if you balance it out, there's only one person who's upset and there's a bunch of people laughing. So it's...
Genius! Give me an example of that. Give me an example.
Well, for instance, Karl Pilkington as he talks and the people listening.
Yeah, no, give me an example of, like, so, you know...
I can't, because, again, that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you the story, because there might be someone out there who... This person might even be listening and think, I forgot about that and you brought it all back to me. Yeah. So I prefer to leave it, but I think people know...
Why did he put him in the bin in the first place?
Because he was getting out of hand.
What was he doing, though?
You see, I can't explain without...
You can! Don't be silly!
I prefer to leave it, honestly.
What was he doing? Was he annoying him?
he was annoying me dad and the other people in the cab.
Right.
And he thought, how can I deal with this before it gets too out of hand?
Yeah.
He pulled over and put the lad in a wheelie bin.
I'm gonna burst.
So we'll leave that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
How old was the kid?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a trip to sort of Blackpool, so I'm guessing
Do you think it was one of the rides?
17.
This is rubbish.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, he's quite an old lad then.
So a big lad.
Yeah.
But let's.
Did he pick him up?
He picked him up and put him in a wheelie bin.
Every time he says it, I like it.
And then on the way back, he got him back again. He said, right, you won't do that again.
On the way back?
Yeah, he left him there for a bit.
He left him there, what, they went to Blackpool and
Yeah.
he left the kid in the wheelie bin?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
What, was the kid in the wheelie bin when he drove back?
Yeah.
Did he not get out?
No, because how do you get out? It's tricky, innit? And he wasn't a normal kid, was he? Let's leave it.
He wasn't a normal kid.
Right then. So,
Is your father in prison?
Oh,
I think he should be.
can we put a song on?
Yeah, go on then.
Carl, tell Steve what you just told me when Steve was in the toilet then.
Right, you know, I'd just been away with my mum and dad and that. And one of the things I always like doing is having a good chat with my dad about stuff he got up to when he was a kid and that.
Yeah.
Right, because he got up to loads of stuff, and every time I see him, he tells me something, and I think, well, it's like, why are you just telling me that now? It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I mean, to me, he's kind of like Ronnie Biggs or someone. He's just the most extraordinary kind of...
well, this
Character
happened,
for
right?
character.
I can't remember. There was a delay yesterday. There was problems on the Paddington line,
Yeah.
and he was saying, "Oh, trains aren't what they used to be."
Sure.
He said, "You know," he said, "I was
They
looking."
used to be horses, didn't they?
Well, he was like, he was looking in the booklet, and it was saying how you can have your bags collected if you want, but it costs you £5.
Yeah.
So that's outrageous,
Sure, of course.
right? So he said that's the problem with this country. We've got good with computers and that, but when it comes to like getting service, it's gone out the window.
Yeah.
Right. So he said, when I worked on the trains, you know, and he was going on like this, that and the other. So I said, oh, I didn't know you worked on the trains. He said, yeah, when I was 18, right, it was his job to get the coal, right, and chuck it in the engine,
Uh-huh.
right. And one day he's in Grand Central Station in Manchester, which is now the GMEX Centre,
Right.
right. And that was like the main station. And he was in there. The fella who should have been sort of driving the train,
Yeah.
right, he said, oh, I'm just nipping to the pub.
Sure.
So you just stay here, keep the engine topped up and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, all right.
For a quick getaway.
Yeah.
So the fella goes in the pub, and my dad's in there, you know, putting the coal on. He did his bacon and eggs on a little shovel.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, fella comes up. He says, right, can you move the train forward now?
Oh, blimey.
So he was like, oh. So he didn't want to say, oh, the fella's in the pub, because he'd know, he'd say, well, what's he doing in the pub? He should be working,
Cool.
right? So he said, yeah, no problem, I'll sort it out. Right, so he puts it into gear, or whatever you do on them trains,
Sure,
right?
puts it in first, yeah.
Starts going forward. Now, people who don't know about trains, something that I learnt, is if you're carrying a load of coal or whatever on the back of it, they don't have brakes on each carriage, right? It's only the engine that has brakes on it.
Uh-huh.
So when you pull the brakes on the engine, the whole weight of what it's pulling is pushing you forward,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't realise this though, because he's just used to cooking bacon and eggs and chucking coal.
Of course,
and
yeah.
things, right?
So you've got to slam the brakes on sooner than you would normally.
Yeah.
Well, you have to anticipate it, I suppose. Yeah.
But he didn't know that,
course he
so
didn't,
he's
yeah.
pulling in, he's thinking, right,
Well,
I'll
he's
put the
a
brakes.
Pilkington.
I'll put the brakes on now.
Yeah.
Right. Puts the brakes on. The train just keeps going. He's going. Oh god, it's not stopping.
Sure.
It ploughs right through the signal box. Right. Loads
The
of
baboon
damage.
pulling the signals doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Loads of damage done. Apparently, if it was today's money,
Yeah.
it'd be about £3 to £4 million worth of damage. It shut the station off for 4 weeks. But he didn't lose his job. The fella lost his job, the one who was in the pub.
Yeah.
He said the funny thing was, he said like £4 million worth of damage. He did his ankle, his wrist in. He had 3 weeks off sick and got paid. So it's brilliant. So
I love your family.
It's extraordinary. The Pilkington gene.
weird, isn't it?
I'd like to see a documentary following you and your family. You'd have to get the family involved.
No, the sort of stuff my dad goes on about. They'd never put it on telly. I was on holiday recently.
Yeah.
I got talking to an old fella because where I went, it's mainly for old people. I got chatting with him. You could tell he had a lot of money.
Yeah.
He sort of tanned. He had that sort of rouge-coloured sort of jeans,
Oh yeah.
which is always sort of.
Telltale sign.
It's kind of like he's got money.
Yeah.
And
The red jeans are twice as much, sir. That's okay. I've got money.
yeah, it's either that colour or yellow. But you
Yeah.
can carry it off when you're an old man, and especially with the tan, you think, yeah, he's got a few.
Oh,
quid.
I'm a millionaire. Do you have any yellow jeans? We've got one pair, sir. But
But
no
they are
one...
the most expensive.
Yeah,
of
they're in the back room. Could I just see your bank account first? There it is. Oh, yeah. You can afford yellow jeans, all right, sir. Come this way.
So I got talking to him, and it turns out he had a cruise ship,
Right.
loads of money. Now I was chatting to him for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What colour was his jacket?
Said he didn't have a jacket on, just a white shirt.
He's wearing red jeans and a white shirt.
Yeah, sort of leather slip-on shoes, what I can remember.
And how old is he?
It's hard to tell because he was well tanned.
Right.
Was he an attractive man?
He's a good-looking fella.
So he's rich. So you saw this rich, good-looking bloke with just a shirt on.
No, he had a shirt and his pink
Yeah.
pants.
His pink pants, and he just went over and struck up a conversation.
I don't know. Why did you notice what colour the crotch area was?
What?
Why did you notice what
But you were
colour
looking
the...
very much at the arse
I
and the
can see
crotch
why
area.
you could see... If you're looking at his face, you could see a white shirt. But
tell
why
you
could you
why.
see
I'll tell you
what
why.
colour
This is what I'm
the
telling you.
fabric around his
This is what I'm
testicles were?
saying.
You saw a good-looking old man sat at the bar. You went out and bought him a drink. Right?
Yeah, you
I
so
was
you
waiting
noticed
for the
that-
barbecue to open.
Right, okay, and
I
you
got
noticed
there
a man's...
early.
So you noticed
So
a
it was
man's
9 in the morning.
trousers.
No.
Yeah, no.
I was annoyed. I
Right.
don't like late nights on holiday.
Right, okay.
With jet lag. Suzanne said, let's go down there early tonight.
Right.
I get there, I find out the barbecue's not for another 40-odd minutes.
What time was
the
it?
holiday rep. Well, I don't know. It starts at 8.
You're
so I had to
noticing
wait for
people.
40
You're
minutes.
noticing old men's genital coverings, but you don't know what fucking time it is.
Yeah, but
Get
what
your
I'm
story
saying, What I'm
straight.
saying to you is, the
Right.
reason I noticed his pants is because what he was talking about,
Right.
there was no reference points. I didn't have a clue what he was going on about.
Right. What was he talking about for your eyes to wander down to his penis, is what I'm trying to say. What made you look at his penis?
Because I got bored. I didn't know. What I'm trying to say to you is reference points. I had no idea
what
what
was
he
he
was going on
talking
about. When
about?
you're talking to a stranger, aren't you meant to keep it
Above the waist, looking at his bollocks,
keep it to
erect. I made Karl laugh.